Hey Cactus crew, thanks for tuning in. If you are new here, hi, I'm Cactus Bill, welcome. In this video, I will be reading an old article from the Katie Joy archives. I do this every Monday. And if you're interested in hearing more of the Katie Joy diaries, then hit subscribe, hit like, and comment below. Let me know what you think. I highly suggest every single one of my videos. Please check out the description box. Keep scrolling to find the cactus. If you would like to support this channel, then that link is for you. Plus you get the cactus badge and you get extra content. So wham bam, thank you ma'am. Let's get into it. Everything that I do say is my own opinion. This article is called God Was Drunk If He Thought I Could Handle This, from June 8th, 2018 by Katie Paulson. I'll never forget the first time I shared my son's story with an individual I was meeting for the first time. We were sitting and they had asked me about my son's journey. I shared the time he was on life support. Of course you did. It's your favorite. It's your go-to. It's your pocketbook. I shared the time he was on life support, fighting for his life, and I remember the look on their face. Their eyes were sad, and I could almost see tears filling in their eyes. She was captivated at what I was sharing, and I was slightly uncomfortable at her witness at emotions. The story I was sharing was one I had shared so many times before. I am so disconnected from the story that I can rattle it off with little to no emotion. There's no emotion anytime. Monotone, monotone, that's your life. Every time you go, it's monotone. As emotion continued to fill their face, I remained stoic and tried not to make eye contact. As I finished my story, her head bowed down and it shook quietly. She then said to me, "Wow, he's such a miracle. You are so strong. God must have known you could handle this." My face, which was already blank, went pale. I tried to hide my discomfort in the statement, and my stomach dropped to my feet. Awkwardly, I smiled and nodded my head. Over the course of 5 years, each time someone meets us and hears my son's story, all too often this statement is reiterated to me. There are numerous forms it has been directed toward me. God only gives you what you can handle. God picked you because he knows you are strong. God only gives special children to special people. Whether you believe in God or not, the statement implies that somehow up in heaven, God decided you were strong enough to manage the day-to-day rigors of raising a child with incredible needs and health issues. Apparently, God isn't that well versed in me and my problems because the last thing I am is strong and put together. The truth is, if God thinks I can handle it, he must have been drunk when he made this decision. These well-meaning and well-intentioned individuals that rattle these sentiments off to me haven't seen me in my worst moments. They meet me in the few moments I have time to put myself together, look presentable, and go out into the world. However, they are not witnessing me in the crippling and debilitating moments where fear and panic have taken over my soul. They don't see the bags under my eyes that I have covered with layers of concealer and powder. The fatigue that I feel is reduced by the 10 cups of coffee I have inhaled throughout the day. No one knows just how poorly I am handling this situation. In the beginning days of our journey, I was so sleep deprived and exhausted, I had no time to process the gravity of our situation. You were also intoxicated, drunk. For the first 4 years of his life, you wrote about being hung over. In the beginning days of our journey, I was so sleep deprived and exhausted, I had no time to process the gravity of our situation. I moved to autopilot from one moment to the next. Each crisis was filled with trauma for my son and me. And as we have made our way through every event, the post-traumatic stress has built up in us. We have triggers that set us off. For my son, it is lights in the operating rooms, masks are worn by providers, and band-aids that remind him of wounds from IVs and lab draws. For me, it's the beeping of alarms that can send me into dark panics. I never got help. And I say that, Katie, because the way you don't speak like someone who's been to therapy. No, you speak like someone who has remained in the negative space. Alarms that alert for low oxygen, low respirations, or feeding pumps can take me to dark places. The feeding pump alarm I cannot escape. We use the pump daily, and every day my neck twitches and I run to the pump to turn it off so I don't go into a tailspin. If you got therapy, you'd be able to process it and be more present for your son. I'm not handling this at all. I'm holding on for dear life, and I'm hoping that every day I can make it through this life without losing my cool. Most days I'm praying to whoever is listening that I can manage another crisis, handle another meltdown, and can have the energy to fight for his care. Advocating for him is exhausting, and if God thought I could handle the fight it takes to get him services, medical care, and fair education, he had to have been drunk. There is no way I have the strength to fight for all the needs my son needs and deserves. People have no idea how frequently I shake my head and slam my forehead into my hands on a daily basis. I don't have energy or strength to fight this hard. Fighting for him to go to school shouldn't be this hard. Ensuring teachers and administrators adhere to his IEP and keep him safe should not take hours and hours of work on my part. My nerves are frazzled, my temper is short, and my body has not had a good night's sleep in over 5 years. No part of me is handling this situation. If God thought I could handle it, he indeed must have known that for years I would drink too much wine and overeat food to suppress my feelings. I would watch pounds of weight pack on my midsection, my face swell, and my pants no longer fit. I hid from the world, isolated myself from everyone around us, and refused to face the reality of our situation. Being around anyone that had a child that was healthy or typical sent my anger and jealousy into overdrive. If God gave him to me because he wanted me to be happy, I guess God wanted me to be drunk, stuffed full of food, and alone. It's a lot to put on God, isn't it? Jeez. What about Katie Joy? Stop, take God out of there and just go, if Katie Joy gave him to me, she wanted me to be happy. I guess Katie Joy wanted me to be drunk, stuffed full of food, and alone. It's not God, man. You have a fucking choice. But you just want to blame everyone but your fucking self. The only reason I'm doing all of this is that I love my child. I know he deserves the best life and he deserves the same access to a life that the rest of society enjoys. He deserves to feel good, to learn about the world, to socialize and make friends, and he deserves to have a better quality of life. Exactly. So give him one. Stop isolating him from the world. Stop homeschooling him. Stop being the only interaction that he has with humans. I'm not stronger than any other mum that loves a child. There is nothing about me that is superhero in strength, and I should not be applauded for merely doing what a mother should be doing. As the years go on, instead of handling the situation, we deal with each moment as it comes. Each day can present a new crisis, and we know that for all of us to survive, we have to move through the day. The only other option would be to give up, let go, and abandon my child. No, Micah, what the fuck? What kind of heartless mother would I be to do this to my son? What you're doing to him and what you have done to him for the past 10 years and counting, in my opinion, ABUSE, that's all I've seen. That's all she has shared, overshared. And guess what, Katie? I am taking your oversharing material, and I'm putting it back on the table in a hand that is dealt with a voice. Because your son might not have a voice in your house. But once those pictures became public, I started to form the Paulson puzzle, and it came together. It was a horror story. What kind of heartless mother would I be to do this to my son? Abandoning him is not an option, and giving up the fight for him is also not fair to him. Well, you've given up a long time ago. You can't even give up drinking. You can't even go to therapy, be clean for your son. No, I'm not handling this situation the best as I could, but I'm not going to give up on my child. I don't believe God thought I could handle it. But if there is a God, I do believe he or she knew I would love my child more than anything, and I would do whatever I could to make sure my child has the best life possible. That doesn't make me strong. It doesn't make me more capable of anyone else. It merely makes me a mum. Don't tell me I can't handle this situation. Just tell me I'm doing an excellent job as his mum. Okay, Amber, you're doing a great job. Shows so much in all the photos and everything that you've shared. You're just an amazing mother. No one has any fucking question, Who would? You're an inspiration. I hope to be as caring and empathetic as you one day. I bet your son talks highly of you. You know, I'm being fucking sarcastic because, Katie, that is not you. No, 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 no.
God, if God was drunk,
If God thought I could handle it, he indeed must have known for years I would drink too much wine and overeat food to suppress my feelings. I hid from the world, isolated myself from everyone around us, and refused to face the reality of our situation. And you have remained there for the past decade and counting. You are still there. Instead of blaming God, do you know what this is describing? Depression. Wouldn't be surprised if not only you had postpartum, you do speak about having postpartum. And I will dig that audio out because it is. Whoa. People have no idea how frequently I shake my head and slam my forehead. People have people have no idea